Kia ora. This morning I'm here at the most delightful church, St Anne's of Pleasant Valley. It's quite close to Geraldine, and I want to tell you all about it because it is an absolute gem. Now, in 1862 it was decided they needed a church here because poor Parson Brown was having to give services in houses, in sheds and outdoors. So Mr. William Grace, a local resident, gave half an acre of bush block to build a church. And from this bush block they used the timber to build this little church. The builder was a Mr. John Huffey, and Mr. Young was the carpenter. And it was built as a voluntary capacity. Now, the walls are made out of a sort of clay and tussock pug, and they were actually covered in weatherboards in 1934 when a local resident, Mrs. Burden, gave the money so that it could be preserved better. But when you come inside the church, just to the left of the door, there's a glass window and you can see the construction of the building. Now, the wood, as I say, was used, came from the land around the church, and you can see the adze and pit saw marks in the timber. Now, the plans for the church were drawn up by the magistrate in Timaru, a man with a Lieutenant Belford Walton. Very grand name, but you'd need a grand name if you're a magistrate in Timaru, I guess. And he designed a church that would seat up to 40 people. Now, before the church opened in 1863, and by the way, it's the oldest operating church in South Canterbury. Before it opened, what did they do in the church? They had a dance. Now, isn't that a wonderful thought that all the locals who'd, toiled away to build this beautiful building, they decided that would be a lovely way to use the church the first time. Now, the church is interesting because just behind me, it's actually sort of beginning to fall away a little bit from the main building. So you feel the Reverend Hughes said it feels like when you're standing there, you feel as though you're on a ship. Now, I've got a very charming account of a wedding that happened in this church. And it's so evocative and charming, I think you'll enjoy it. So the Timaru Herald, the 20th of December 1919, page 7, Butters, Walton. A very pretty wedding was solemnised in the Anglican Church, Pleasant Valley, on Wednesday the 10th of December, when Miss Violet Louise Walton, only daughter of Mr. and Mrs. W.G. Walton of the Pines, was joined in holy bonds of matrimony to Mr. Joseph Butters, only son of Mr. J. Butters of Sherwood Downs. Reverend Canon Hamilton was the officiating clergyman. The bride was given away by her father, looked charming in a wedding dress of ivory voile, handsomely silk embroidered with a becoming tuile veil and orange blossoms. She also carried a sheaf of arum lilies with satin streamers. As the bride entered the church, the sweet strains of the bridal march came from the organ, which was presided over by Mrs. Fucatech. The bride was accompanied by her cousin, Miss Hodgkinson of Upper Riccarton, as bridesmaid, who was prettily attired in a check costume and a leghorn hat, lined with blue and daintily trimmed with black velvet ribbon and pink posies, and she carried a beautiful bouquet. Mr. G.H. Walton acted as best man. After the ceremony, at the residence of the bride's parents, the Pines, a sumptuous wedding breakfast was tastily laid out and partaken of by the assembled friends. The Reverend Canon Hamilton proposed a toast of the newly wedded couple, wishing all happiness, health and prosperity in their married lives, and especially referred in eulogistical terms to the many services rendered by the bride in officiating at the musical portions of the church services in the district. The bridegroom suitably responded. Several toasts were honoured and all present spent a most enjoyable time. The happy couple received numerous congratulations and many handsome presents, including a number of cheques. The bridegroom's present to the bride was a lovely gold pendant encasing amethyst and pearls, and to the bridesmaid a handsome gold bangle. The bride's travelling costume was of grey tweed with Saks blue hat. The happy couple left by motor car en route for the north. Now, I would like to play a piece of music by Mozart called Voi che sapete, from his Marriage of Figaro, and I'd like to dedicate it to Miss Hodgkinson from Upper Riccarton, because I think she was a bit hard done by her outfit. A checked costume, a leghorn hat. Mozart's Voi che sapete. Are you ready, Mrs. Vulutek?